Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm happy to be alive.
Happy to
What's
be
going
alive.
on, man? Welcome
Oh
to the
man, can't
Devo
complain.
and Chris Joe show. Joe, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. We're here. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning here in Montreal, Quebec. The sun is shining, and of course, the season has started. Regular, exhibitions and all that is over with, and we're 1-0, and that's how we got to start the season up.
Want to know, man? Let's kind of recap the game. I thought overall, I think pretty good. I'm looking at the stat sheet right now, and this is something that kind of jumped out to me, Joe. Obviously, it's the first game of the season, but 25, 28, 26, 16, 23, 22, 13, 11, 4, 28, 4. Those are the minutes that, everyone was able to
Yeah,
play. So, I mean, it just goes to show you how much talent, how much depth this team has. Obviously, a lot of young fellas, but first and foremost for me, what really stuck out, I got to go talk about Jesse. We talked about it, over the first two exhibition games. We want to see a little bit more enforcer from him, a little bit more dominant
yeah.
on both ends of the floor. It looks like he was hearing us and he paid attention, bro, because from start to finish, he was dominant on both ends of the floor. I think he did a great job of running the floor. You mentioned that
Big
through
time.
text message, getting easy buckets. You mentioned the half court oop from Joe, and then just him on the defensive end, going up there and getting it. We see the one guy, he tries to go up, and Jesse just, he dominated the ball. So, from start,
Obliterated.
obliterated. So from start to finish, I think Jesse, he did his job. 18 and 11. I think he had 3 blocks. He did a good job of staying out of foul trouble. If he does this, bro, if this is the Jesse that we can see on a consistent basis, and we talked about it, bro, he's going to be, putting himself in contention to be an NBA player, for this season, if he continues to play like this, he's going to put the team in a really good position. So, but besides Jesse, I thought Joe shot the ball well. Slow start for the first half, but ended up being 5 for 10, 4 for 6 from 3, I believe. Judah, he's going to keep getting better. He's exciting. We could, do without the careless turnovers, but he's going to continue to learn and grow through the. He's had some plays that only big time guys can make, and
No question.
he's going to be one of them. And then, I'm not going to go through everyone, but I think one guy that really stuck out to me, bro, who could really help, it might be a big piece at times if he continues to develop, is Malik Brown.
No question.
Especially, bro, we talked about if Benny's not consistent. I think Malik's a guy that can come in and he's so versatile. Defensively, he's great. Which he could guard multiple positions. Offensively, he's going to run the floor. He's just going to be around the ball. You know what I mean? He's going to be
don't
there.
need no plays.
Doesn't
plays
need
needed for him.
And I kind of like,
Be
he
in
has
the right
like
place
that.
at the right time.
Yeah, the Jeremy Grant body, right now, as far as long, lengthy, he has a hell of a motor.
Wiry.
So, bro, I like what I've seen from him, man. Just, I guess, give me a take, on the first game, and just some things that really stuck out to you.
Well, what stuck out to me as well was that Samir was our second leading rebounder. He came in, he had a career high in points. He played really well. You seen him hit a tough 3-point shot, which again, I knew, he's not considered one of our shooters, let's just say. But I know that he has been putting the work in, and it's showing. In the last exhibition game, he hit 2, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2 for 5 against Lehigh. He comes in, hits a nice rhythm 3-point shot. Second on our team in rebounding with 6, 3 assists. What I found interesting was at a point we had Samir and Judah and Quadir. So, and then I think it was Jesse and Benny maybe on the inside. So like 3 guards. I like seeing Samir and Judah in there at the same time. Coach, I guess, is still mixing matching a couple lineups, which of course he has to experiment a little bit. I'm talking about experiment. I'm remembering last year Paulie with the lab coat or whatever it was. But listen, yeah, no. So it was, but
That's
you
not
know,
a, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not a fucking scientist, Polly.
but no, that was good to see. And again, just to shed light again on Jesse, just seeing how active he was running the floor. His first take to the basket, he went towards the middle, bump, finished with a left hand layup.
Yes.
That was a really nice move, not giving into the defense and how far he is away from the basket. He's making it a conscious effort to finish at the rim, which is good for any big. But of course, for us, you mentioned Malik Brown being in the right place at the right time. That's going to be huge. And we knew coming into the season that the freshmen were going to have to give us a lot. Coming off of we have 7 of them. If not 6 freshmen, then we got Ema, who's new, so we could damn near call him a freshman at Syracuse. You know what I mean?
And he had a hell of a game too. He contributed.
So those contributions and those minutes that you called out, everybody, and that's not something that we see too often. Everybody getting a fair shake, seeing that man-to-man, switching the zone, being able to do both. As versatile as we are on the offensive end, I think we're going to be just as versatile on the defensive end, being able to switch defenses depending on who we're playing. A poor shooting team, of course, we go to our bread and butter. We play that zone. A team that's kind of, and then a more better shooting team, we might have to go man and funnel them to the basket and let Jesse do what he do. You know what I mean? So it was good to just see them out there, Judah, playing basketball, having fun. Guys were playing with a lot of passion, I'd say. They were smiling out there, things that we hadn't seen very much for the first game. There was a lot of bright spots. One thing I will say, though, is, we took and made some tough ones. Now, like a couple turnarounds in the paint, dribble, hand in the face, mid-range pull-up. We're playing into the defense. But if we're capable of making those shots at a high rate, then so be it. If that's what you do, then that's what you do. But I like the way we moved the ball. We played well. Again, I think the fact that we were running, got some transition points, what we've been mentioning for the past little bit, I think we saw a glimpse of it last night, and it's only going to get better from here.
And I like what you said, transition points, because we had 18 fast break points. And just to be honest, last year we were seeing like 4, 6 points transition. That wasn't our strength, but and again, we had transition points last year where shooters were able to get out, ahead and get 3-point opportunities. I don't know if they really count those as fast break or transition buckets, but that was something that we excelled at last year. But it's a different team, bro. This year, you talked about guys just being able to create for themselves, get in the lane when a play is broken down. You could give a guy like the ball and tell him to go ahead. Now on the flip side, I think as we start to progress into the season, get into conference play, we're going to have to execute a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because now when you start playing the Dukes and North Carolinas and you're going one-on-one all the time and breaking the play, it's not going to work against those teams. You got to get some, obviously transition buckets, easy buckets, and then you got to be able to execute in the half court. And then obviously, bro, we need those guys where you could just give them the ball and tell them to go ahead. You have to have that. We didn't really have that last year as much, and this year it's kind of exciting to see that we really have multiple guys that you could give the ball to. And go ahead. And you talked about those different lineups. We saw Quadir, we saw Samir and Judah, with the different lineups, like mixing it up in the zone from man to zone. I think really what helped us was going back to the zone. If you saw, Lehigh did a good job of executing in the first half, they were making shots. But I think, early in that second half, I don't know what time was it when we switched the zone, but the zone really came out and you saw our length and athleticism. And I think that really bothered Lehigh because now, they're forced into shooting, long range shots, they're not able to get by. We have the guys up top who can keep guys in front and in the zone and not able to get into the penetration. Whereas last year we saw that was what we struggled with, guys getting inside that zone. And now, it's open season, bro. You're picking your poison as far as kicking it out and in the defense is scrambling. But I like what I see. Obviously it's a long way to go. We have a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, and we have a lot of depth, bro. So that's a good problem to have, a lot of depth.
Great problem to have.
bro. I know, and I'm not. It's not anything that I don't want to, single out Benny or anything. I know he's talented. I know he has the potential. We talked about him seeing the consistency. Now that we see Malik Brown coming in and giving an impact, maybe that lights a little fire up under him. And just
Yep.
hey man, I got to get going. Like I got to be consistent because these young fellas, I know they're my teammates, but they're ready to come in and make an impact too and play. And
No doubt.
the window is going to be like this. Just keep getting smaller and small. You know what I'm saying? So eventually,
Smaller and smaller.
that opportunity is going to go to another guy. But we have a lot of talent, so I'm excited about that depth. But let's get this guest in, man. He's one of the greatest scorers probably in SU history. We talked about a guy who could just do it by himself. He was a guy that I got to see up close and personal, and he could really do it by himself. He was a guy who could create for himself and others, get to the hoop, mid-range, three-point shots, made a lot of big shots.
Big shot maker.
Shot taker.
God damn it.
Facts. That's a fact. Well, let's welcome in our guy, Tyus Battle. T, what's good, man?
TV, what's going on?
Doing
Man,
right.
how you feeling, man? So just kind of update us on where you're at. We'll kind of dive into some different stuff, but update us like where you're at. I know we're working through some injuries and stuff like that. So just let everyone know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, recently I had a foot injury, which kept me out for a little while, and I actually had a second surgery a couple weeks ago. So I'm rehabbing from that. Finally got my boot off yesterday, which is good. So I'm just ready to get back out there at this point.
Progress, baby, progress.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it is.
Slow motion better than no motion.
Yeah,
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. Yo, we'll start it off like this, T. I mean, I know you've been going through a lot of injuries, and the mental side of the sport is I think, super important. A lot of people don't take that into account, especially when, we all been through it, going overseas, being away from your family. You get injured overseas. Chris Joe, I know you dealt with it for sure, and now you're overseas. They're not giving you the treatment you feel that you might need. Worrying about getting cut, getting a paycheck, all that. So kind of talk about that, man, going from college, from Cuse, having everything took care of, you know what I'm saying? Everything good. You ain't have to worry about nothing to, going overseas where I know you had some success, Russia, Italy, Israel, just to name a few places, but kind of talk about that transition, man, and how tough it is, mentally and then physically as well when you get hurt over there.
I mean, it definitely is tough. I mean, because coming from Syracuse, you have pretty much everything taken care of. You have your cold tubs, ice bath, you have trainers around you 24/7. But overseas, especially with the lower level team starting off, because when you first initially get overseas, with a lower level team and you got to work your way up, your body is really put on yourself. You have to really,
you got to invest in yourself.
Yeah, you have to invest in yourself. A lot of teams, they don't have really cold tubs, so you have to really just, bags of ice around your knees. I bought like the Normatec boots to take out with me, so I travel with them. Constantly have to work on your stretching and stuff like that because you don't get the same attention as in college, unless you get to the higher level team. So,
and then what they do, right? They expect you to just go. Hey, I know we don't got the best facilities in the world. The assistant coach is taping your ankles. But guess what? You still got to practice twice a day. And we still expect you to score 20 or else we're going to cut you. You know what I mean? So it's what they ask of you and what you're giving in return, like it's not adding up. You know what I mean?
It's not easy.
That's part of it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy now.
And the practices aren't easy too. Practices, you're going full speed. You're playing live every day, full speed. It's not like you don't get a little like shoot around, you're going live, picking up full court every single day. So it's a lot on your body,
Every day.
Yeah, it's a lot on your body, but you have to really, focus to take care of it.
No question.
What country was your favorite country to be in? Besides basketball, I think it's cool that we all get to see the world and travel the world. So from your experience, what was the best country?
Man. I mean, I had the most fun in Israel. I mean, it's a small country. I'm able to drive around. It's really easy. Tel Aviv's right on the beach, so I was on the beach a lot. For a younger guy, I think Israel's a lot of fun. But Italy's fun too. I mean, the part of Italy I was in Sardinia, which is it's a separate island from mainland Italy,
Yeah.
which is kind of tough because anytime I wanted to like go to Milan or Bologna or
Right.
something like that, but yeah, so that made it tough. But I would say if I was in mainland Italy, Italy would be amazing as well. So
That's what's up.
No doubt.
Hey, I just real quick, we went, forward and we start speaking of your professional careers and, trials and tribulations as far as injuries go. But I want to bring it back to Syracuse. Personally, I don't know the reason why you picked Syracuse. I know you had your pick, right? So what made Syracuse, the best option for you coming in as a freshman?
Well, I don't know if people know this, but I was actually committed to Michigan before going to Syracuse.
Yeah.
I was committed to Michigan.
Shit, you see that?
I took 4 official visits. I ain't taking official to Syracuse at that point. I committed to Michigan. My mom wasn't happy with me because she wanted me to take all 5 visits. So I decommitted from Michigan. I decommitted from Michigan, took my visit to Syracuse. I went to the Syracuse Duke game, and it was a wrap. It was a wrap after that. So,
Great choice.
Yeah. I mean, me being from New Jersey, I'm a East Coast kid. I mean, and I feel like with colleges and universities, I feel like you make the most connections where you're from. And I mean, it's a 3-hour drive to Syracuse for me. I mean, like I said, the Syracuse Duke game was amazing. The fans are the best in the country. Academics, athletics. I mean, you get the best of both worlds in Syracuse, I feel like.
So now, with that being said, we have a team. As we were mentioning before, and throughout this whole preseason, we got a team damn near full of freshmen, right? You come in. What was it like for you coming in and just seeing the difference level from high school to college, and then coming in and being able to do what you did as a freshman, averaging just under 12 points? Like, how was the adjustment for you? Because that's big time for a freshman to come in and be able to contribute right away.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. I mean, it's the complete opposite of what's going on this year. I mean, when I came in my freshman year, we had 5th-year seniors, we had older guys on the squad. So for me coming in my freshman year, I really had to prove and try to work my way up to the starting lineup. I mean, I was going to do like Andrew White every day in practice, who he averaged like 18 years. And initially I wasn't starting. I was coming off the bench. I was struggling mentally, trying to find, get the confidence in myself, because I always felt like I was good enough to be out there and contribute. But I really just had to prove it every time I stepped on the floor. And the thing with Coach, like when he sees you're confident and it feels like you could really contribute, then he gives you the green light to go out there. And I really had to work at that. It wasn't an easy year for me, but I was able to make it happen, and I finished out pretty strong.
Yeah, you average just under 12 as a freshman, and you said you struggle mentally, but again, a lot of freshmen don't even come in and play, let alone average, almost 12 points a game. I guess at what point in that year, did you go through something to where, it motivated you to really continue to go and continue to be like, all right, fuck what coach is saying sometimes, because we know how coaches be. Fuck what coach is saying. I'm just going to go out there and play hard, because that's what he wants to see. He wants to see how you're going to react to the bullshit that he brings, to the bullshit that the game brings, practice, whatever it is. It's a lot of shit mentally that could kind of bog you down, so to speak, right? So at what point in the season were you just like, fuck it, I'm just going to go ahead and just hoop, do my thing, clear my mind, and play ball?
I would say it was closer to the ACC play. I would say that. I mean, I went through a couple games during the season where I remember the South Carolina game. I maybe played like 10 or 13 minutes. I didn't get much playing time. I was struggling.
Was that in Brooklyn?
Yeah, it was in Brooklyn. Yeah. We got blown up by them, and at that time we were struggling as a team. I mean, we were preseason top 25 in the country, and we were struggling. I mean, defensively, we were a really good offensive team, but defensively we were struggling a lot. So at some point I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try, just to make an impact when I step on the floor, whatever that is, it is, but just to make sure people know I'm on the floor. And then I think after the Virginia game, I had 24 points in the Virginia game, and then it just I really
And
got
that's where it was.
confident. Yeah, and I just, I think from there on out, I think I averaged like 17 for the rest of the season from there on out. So it was a tough process, but I mean, I was able to.
I think what it is with you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm pretty spot on. Hard work isn't an issue for you. I remember every time I would come to visit, you'd be in the gym. It's a couple of times, maybe, your brother might have been in town, you were in the gym with your brother, whatever it is. I always seen you in the Mellow Center getting shots up, working on different finishes around the basket, things that you don't necessarily see guys work on when they're in the gym by themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So where did that kind of when did that start? Did you have that in high school, middle school? When did that hard work ethic, become a part of your everyday?
I mean, that was since elementary school. I would be in the gym all the time. Holidays didn't matter. Birthdays didn't matter. And that's a big portion because of my dad as well. I mean, he really pushed both me and my little brother. My little brother's a really hard worker as well. And
Yep, shout out to your brother at Temple, right?
yep, he's at Temple right now.
And then your sister too.
Yeah, my sister, she's a hard worker as well. I mean, but for me, it feels like my confidence comes from, when I'm working out, when I'm working on my game, working on moves that my go-to moves, that's where my confidence comes from. So for me mentally, it just helps me just stay sharp and just stay ready and constantly trying to improve my game.
I think after that freshman year, going into your sophomore year, now you're kind of being looked at as more of a leader, right, on the team. Freshman year, we knew you were highly ranked. Now you're highly recruited coming in, so we knew you were talented. We knew you could come in and make an impact. But now going into that sophomore year, now people are really kind of looking to you, and you have expectations on your shoulders. You know what I mean? And you came and did your thing. I think you averaged almost 17, 18 points that sophomore year. It was funny because for me, I was on staff your first 2 years. I think your freshman and sophomore year I was, and then that third year I left and went to Detroit Mercy. But all the hard work that Chris Joe was talking about, like I saw that, and like Joe, like me and him, we be playing 1-on-1, and bro, I'm competitive. Like this motherfucker is hard to beat. Like at one point he was just every game winning. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So and I'm not working out like I should, but he got me back into like, hold on, man, let me go. So like the work ethic, the competitiveness, like my man had it from day one. But getting back into my point, going into your sophomore year, you have these expectations. You're becoming one of the leaders on the team. How did you take that? Were you the type of guy? Because I know the answer, but were you the type of guy that you wanted that? You wanted to take the big shot? You wanted to be the man? Or was it kind of like a heavy load on your shoulders and it's something that you kind of deferred?
No, I loved it. I mean, that's something I always loved growing up. I think the biggest challenge for me, especially going into my sophomore year, was being more of a vocal leader. I'm not a big talker like that. I'm more so lead by example. So me going to my sophomore year, we had a pretty young team as well. It was me and Frank, pretty much leaders on that team. He's more vocal than I was. So I was really trying to work on that throughout the year. But I mean, we had it was a great season. I mean, but it all started during the summertime, 5 a.m.s with GMAC, 6 a.m.s with GMAC, the whole team buying into what we were trying to build as a group. But it was a special year for us. We made a great run in the tournament, and it was a lot of fun.
Yo, real quick, Joe.
Go ahead.
My fault. Just before Joe asked this question, I just want to kind of piggyback off that because we talked about the tournament run. The season was up and down, bro. We had really at the end, like we didn't even fucking know if we were going to be in the tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right. We happened to get in the play-in game in Detroit, right? It was in, so we beat, I want to say Arizona State.
Arizona State, yeah, we beat Arizona State.
And beat TCU.
TCU, then we played Michigan State. Yeah.
And then look, played Michigan State. That was a home game, the Sweet 16, right? And we beat talk about that whole run and kind of like I remember being in the locker room because my daughter was with me when we announced we got in. We were in the Mellow Center, And I remember everyone was like, "We just need a fucking chance. If we get in, we can win. We got a talented team." So kind of talk about that, and bring us through that whole making it and then that tournament run.
Well, yeah, lead it. I mean, like you said, the season was up and down. I mean, we started off really strong during non-conference. We beat a lot of pretty good teams in non-conference. Then we got to ACC play. We started going up and down. Lost to some teams we shouldn't have lost to. And then I remember, getting closer to like the tournament time. We were playing UNC in Brooklyn, and everyone was saying like, we have to beat UNC to make the tournament. We have to beat them to make the tournament. And we lost to them. So my thought process, I just didn't know going into that time. But when we heard our name called, I mean, that was one of the best feelings ever, especially coming off my freshman season in NIT, so I just wanted to play in the tournament so bad. But that run was amazing. I mean, the playing game against Arizona State, it was definitely a lot of nerves that game, but I feel like after we got that game under our belt, we just felt like no one could beat us at that point, honestly. We said as a team, we locked in defensively, we were holding teams to like under 60 a game. We're really slowing down. We're making it tough, yeah. So we were a really confident team at that point. So.
Speaking on defense, how was it for you coming in and playing zone more than, I guess, you probably played zone 100% of the time, while you were there. I know now they're playing a little bit of man. He's trying to experiment with some man-to-man stuff, but how was it for you just playing that zone and figuring it out? Because it's one thing to play the zone, right? We all been part of playing the zone. We've all played zones in the past 2, 3s, but now this zone we all know is a little special. Just knowing the intricacies of the zone. How long did it take you for it to click, the rotations, what you're supposed to do, when you could gamble, knowing where teams think they could pass the ball and anticipating and getting a quick steal, things of that nature?
It took me a while. I'm not even gonna lie. It took me a long time. It probably took me towards the end of my freshman year, and I truly think like that's why we struggled defensively, because we brought on a lot of dudes that were trying to learn the zone.
Exactly.
Take some time to learn the zone, learn where to go, learn where to move, because the zone works best when we're all moving as one. It's flowing.
No question.
And I think my sophomore year, we just had it down, and that's why we were such a good defensive team. But it definitely takes time to learn the zone. I know I definitely had a lot of film sessions with G-Mac, trying to understand like where I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to trap. But yeah, the zone is special. I mean, and especially with this year, with this team, it's different from last year's team. I mean, last year we didn't have the athleticism. This year, this is what the zone, how the zone excels. I mean, we have guys that are long, get up and down the floor, get deflections, block shots. So I think defensively, it could be a good year for us.
Yo, bro, stay right there. Stay right there real quick. Because, you talked about, your team defensively, and we going back to that Michigan State game. I think we held them to like 50 points or something. You know what I'm saying? Michigan State was the top 10 team in the country, if I'm not mistaken. They're a good team, and we on the road basically. To be able to keep a team and 50 points, that's a hell of a defensive effort. And you and Frank up top. I forget who was down in the on the wings in the big.
It was O'Shea. We have Marek and Pascal.
Yeah, like damn, like that zone right there. Like you see, like that's a long ass zone. Do you see any like similarities or to this year's team to your guys as far as like defensive wise goes? Because you talk about like the athleticism and the length. We're back with that shit now, and that's like you know what I mean. Like this team has it, and like when you look at them, you like damn, that's a Syracuse zone right there. Just to look at it, you know what I'm saying? Not even seeing them go yet. But, after watching last game and see, like you talk about, if we're all in one motion, if we're all flowing, balls on guys are on a string. Yeah. This team could be dangerous, yo, like in that zone. And I see a lot of similarities to your team defensively.
Yeah, no, we could definitely be dangerous this year. I mean, the biggest thing with the zone, you want to run the defense off the three. I mean, you need long, athletic guys to do that. And this year, we definitely have that. And we have Jesse down low, shot blocker. That helps. You have the wings getting out to the 3-point line. So I think this year could really be a special year for us defensively, just like it was back in my sophomore year.
Going back to your sophomore year, real quick, you end the season, you average right under 20 points, around 18, 19 points a game. You decide to go test the waters. How did that decision come into play? Did you speak to, because, at the end of every season, we have our, exit meetings with coach. How did you come to that decision? Of course, not going in there with an agent was a good move, because, again, you just want to test the water, see where you would end up and make a decision at that point. But what led you, obviously, I know what led you to that decision was you just fucking killed all season. Right. So why not go just test it out? So, but just talk to us about, what led you to that decision and, when you ultimately came back for your junior year.
Yeah. Like you said, we all have the exit meetings with coach at the end of the season. And honestly, he was okay with whatever decision I made. I mean, coach will tell you straight up how he feels, what he thinks.
Hell yeah.
He'll definitely let you know. But, at the end of my sophomore year, he was saying, like, just do what you want to do. I mean, he felt like I was good whenever I was ready. So I did decide at the time I don't think we were able to hire an agent. I think now you can hire an agent. So I went, tested waters without my agent, did a couple workouts, did the combine, stuff like that. But ultimately at the end of the day, I came back. I was close to graduating. And I wanted to really get my degree before leaving Syracuse. So I came back, I was able to graduate my next year, my junior year. And everyone returned. We had a returning roster. We added Elijah Hughes, who's a really good player, really good scorer. So I really felt like we could really have a really good team going into my junior year and really make a big run. So I think that was my ultimate decision to come back.
Yeah, it's always good when your coach is rocking with you. Whatever decision you make, if the coach is okay with it, it kind of puts you at ease a little bit. Ultimately it's your decision, right? But when your coach is rocking with, whether you leave or whether you come back and you have, your coach's full support, that definitely means a lot. Especially when you think you have something special going on the next season. If you feel like, you could really make a run at it. That kind of reminds me of the end of my junior season, when, I was like, damn, we got Fab coming back. It'll still be Scoop. We got Dion, CJ. Why not go try to make a last run at it? Obviously the future, you never know what it holds for you, but I still, ultimately was able to, get drafted and do all those things. But really college is, let's be real, one of the best times of your life. So being able to come back on campus with all my teammates and try to do something special, which we were real close. I understand your decision and your thought process completely.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, man, I tell you what, nothing like college, bro. I don't care what you tell me. I mean, I get it. Like, you go to the NBA, you got a lot of money, you do all that. But it's totally different, bro. Like, you hanging out with NBA, you doing the hanging out with club, whatever. I ain't into that no more. But the college, bro.
No, it's no stress. No stress. You're really not stressed out in college.
But even like, the college love at Cuse, you getting it on campus, but you getting it outside in the community. We always talk about the community and how supportive they are. Bro, I've been to so many college campuses, different areas that they say are, college towns or whatever. Man, bro, ain't nothing like you. Kind of talk about that, bro. Like, talk about that experience, like, just, because you, like, when we play ball at Cuse, you're engulfed in it. Like, you in there now, like, regardless if you want it or not. Like, you, you know what I'm saying? You gonna get that love. You going outside to the mobile on Nottingham, you gonna see somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or wings, whatever it is. Like, talk about that experience and that love and how that made you feel, bro.
I mean, like I said earlier, I went to I was recruited by a lot of different schools. I went on a lot of visits, been to a lot of college campuses. But the love you get at Syracuse is unlike any other place. I mean, first off, besides the fact we get like 30,000 inside the arena, which is crazy. You don't get that anywhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the love you get on campus, I mean, everyone's watching the games, and even now, playing professionally overseas, I run into Syracuse fans all the time, constantly. I mean, I live in New Jersey, New York area, constantly running into Syracuse fans. They're showing me love, so it's truly a family. I mean, I tell people don't believe me when I tell this, like my
No,
boys,
right.
they never believe it. They never believe it, but it's really a family at Syracuse, man. And I mean, that played into, like I said, into my decision to go there because I'm an East Coast kid, and I mean, the fact that I could run into people in New York, New Jersey, Philly, along with the Syracuse,
Yep.
Boston, it's great to see.
Yeah.
What was Coach like? What was Coach like on just that visit that you took? It was Duke. Obviously that like again, that in itself, you go to see a Duke Syracuse game at the Dome. You don't really need Coach to say much, but
Yeah.
just how did you find him, his personality on that visit? We all know Coach, and we probably all had the same experience. Coach on a visit and Coach coaching is two different people, right?
Yeah,
So just
completely
talk
different.
about. Just
It's
talk about how he was on your visit.
Coach knows how to flip the switch. I swear, but definitely knows how to flip the switch. But I mean, and that game we won too. I mean, we won that game, so Coach is in a great mood. I mean, I think that game went to overtime. I don't know if it was the first one. I think it might have been the first. I don't know if it was the first one or not, but I mean, yeah. So we won that game at the Dome. And it was a great game. We won in overtime, so Coach is in a great mood. I mean, at the time, Coach Hop was on staff. Yeah, that helps.
Coach Hop.
So, Coach Hop, he has energy for days. So everyone was in a great mood. So it was really cool. I mean, Coach is a guy. I mean, he's not a huge talker. He doesn't say much.
Right.
But he's straight up and honest with you. I mean, that's what I definitely learned as my time, my 3 years at Syracuse. He's a very honest person. He says how he feels, good or bad, But for me, I can always respect that. I don't want someone lying to my face telling you, all the great things you're doing. I can't stand that. So for him to be there, if I'm messing up, he'll tell me straight up to my face, like, you gotta do better.
Yep.
So. As a competitor, I always respect that.
Coach gonna act different at the Thanksgiving.
Oh wait, do you remember where you went to eat? Where'd you go? Did you go out to eat? You went out to eat. Do you remember where it was on your visit?
Yeah, we went to Prime Steakhouse. Yeah, went to Prime that day.
Okay, you got
you got you some good food.
Cauliflower shrimp or some shit.
The cauliflower, the shrimp, all that. Yeah.
While we on the topic of Coach, man, Coach with that win last night, 1,100. We all played for Coach. We all were a part of some of those wins. We're all responsible for a lot of those wins. I just want to give a shout out real quick to Coach and a congratulations. But being part of that again, being part of something so special, right? All three of us share that in common, and of course, many other people in Syracuse. But since we're just here talking, right? What was your most memorable win, at Syracuse?
I mean, honestly, what's crazy is, the game Coach was supposed to get his 1,000th win was the Virginia game I was talking about earlier. So that was a game upset Virginia. I had played well my freshman year. I had 24 points. The fans rushed the floor. So I think that was one of my most memorable. I mean, we had some pretty good games. We had the game winner against Duke. John, the game winner against Duke. The Georgia State one my junior year. The Clemson away, which was a win we really needed. So I mean, we had some really fun games.
Oh, you hit the game winner. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit the game. I remember.
Big time shots, man.
A lot of fun, man.
Yo, Joe.
Most memorable win?
No. You. I was gonna ask you. What was yours?
Oh, okay, shit. Mine is easy. Mine is my sophomore year against Villanova when we had the biggest on-campus crowd at the time was 34,000 and change. The winner of that game got, I think, outright Big East. We won the Big East like we were the winners of the Big East. And again, that team had Scotty Reynolds, goddamn, who else? Corey Fisher.
Oh yeah, that's a
Corey
lot of.
Yeah,
Stokes.
they had a Corey Stokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pena, the big man Pena, or whatever, I
Oh
think
yeah,
that was his
Antonio.
name. And Antonio Pena. Man, so it was a lot at stake in a sense where whoever wins gets the outright Big East. We win, we're number one in the country. So just the magnitude of that game, the lead up to it. I think it was damn near. I think it was a college game night too, if I'm not mistaken. So the lead up to the game, the ESPN, and at that point I'm a sophomore. I'm coming off the bench. I know I'm on the verge again, Big East Six Man of the Year. So just being able to win that game and how huge the dome was. The dome was rocking for real. I'm talking about the floor felt like it was shaking. I couldn't hear nobody. Thank God we had signals for our plays, and we don't run too many of them anyway. But I couldn't
Right.
hear Scoop talking. Like I couldn't hear anything, bro. So that for me was the most memorable game. And of course there was a couple. The most memorable would be that one. Of course we had a lot of close calls, but that's my most memorable game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess mine would be. I mean, the obvious would be the 6OT, right? That'd be the obvious for me to say that. Um, Damn,
Yeah.
man. But I guess one game that really like kind of stuck out in my head because I had some fun, bro. I'm not gonna lie, we had some fun hooping. Yo, like my freshman year, we went on. When I played with GMAC, we went on won 4 games in 4 days. At that time, we were the first
Oh
team to
yeah.
ever do that in Big
Yeah.
East history. And we did that as like a 9 seed, I believe. You know what I mean, or 8 or 9 seed. Beat UConn, number 1 team in the country. Ended up beating Pittsburgh when they had big ass Aaron Gray, Carl Krauser, Levon Kendall.
Yep. Yep.
You know, Benjamin, you know what I'm saying? They had some talent. But it was a game, bro. We played Georgetown, and we ended up, man, I don't know what it was, man. I don't know if it went to OT or what, but I hit like 2, 3 in the OT, like kind of like bang, 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 just to kind of separate it to where we got it. And then the seal was, I think you guys had this play a lot on the press break where I think we had all 4 guys up. So we'll have like the bigs come up on the wing and then we have 2 elbows. And then the 2 guards go to cross screen. Right as I'm going to screen, I turn and sprint. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and just go and just let out.
Yeah.
Man, they whole defense, Georgetown was up and they football pass, boom, laid that thing up. But I just remember how the dome was. Always work, bro. Always work. And because we had brought everyone up, so they was like, "Fuck it, we gonna bring everyone up too." And so they threw that touchdown pass. I caught it, and I just, you know how it is against Georgetown, bro. I remember Coach was ecstatic just because, you know, it was a win, but it was against Georgetown. So that kind of, I forget what year it was, but that game sticks out in my head. But damn, bro, we 1,100 wins, and it's kind of crazy because, you know, we get to share all these stories. Like other universities aren't able to do that because they've had about 9, 10 different coaches.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's another thing I think that bonds us together so closely. Like we go back, like I'll meet DC or I'll meet like Sherman Douglas. It's like, you know, motherfuckers known each other for, you know, 10 plus years, just all off of the strength of coach, for real. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it always goes back to coach. So I just kind of feel grateful for, you know, being able to have that and being a part of that type of family. But yeah, shout out to coach, man. 1,100 wins, keep going strong. Who knows, man? This might be it, man. You know what? It might be it because he playing man to man. He fucking like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do everything before I go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your guys' thoughts though? I guess we haven't really. I know it's early in the season. No one really wants to touch on that. I mean, it's a repeated subject, I guess. What are your thoughts, man? We'll start with you, Chris Joe, and we'll end with Tyus. What is it? Is this coach last year, man? Is like, do you see the signs, or does he look like his energy's still there where he can do a couple? Motherfucker might do 4, 5, 6 again. We don't know.
He might. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know, man. But for me personally, I guess it would depend. I feel like coach is so competitive where it would really have to depend on how the season go. You know what I mean? If he could leave like on his own terms, we won, we made the tournament, we went as far as we could have in the tournament. All right, cool. I'm good with that. Or it could be the flip side of maybe we make the Elite Eight. Nah, fuck that. I got to come back next year because I was this close. Because he's so competitive that you never know, right? Because he doesn't look like he's tired of coaching at all. You know, he still wakes up every day. When I was in Syracuse last 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and I went to his office, he was ready to go. It was, it was an off day, but he was ready to talk basketball. He's still in his, he's watching golf, of course. Golf was on TV, but he seems like he's still able to coach for another 2, 3 more seasons. So I think it all depends on him when he's ready to just, that's his identity at the end of the day, right? He is Syracuse basketball. He is the city of Syracuse. You know what I mean? Like he is, you know what I mean? So I think when he's ready to give it up, and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch to whoever that next person might be, that's when it's going to be. I don't think but of course, a losing season, let's just say we're speaking positivity into existence, right? I think that we're going to do well this year. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the season doesn't end, where he would like it to, NIT or no tournament, he's coming back for another year. He's not going to end on that note. He doesn't want, it's just like in practice, bro. You don't never want to leave practice on a loss. You want to play again till you win, and then it's okay, all right, cool. Then I'll
Can't
go
leave
out.
the gym
Now
till
we
you
can
make
leave.
it.
Now
Can't leave
we
the
can
gym
leave.
till
You
you
know what I
make it.
mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, coach is a competitive person, and I think he will leave on his own terms. I think I definitely agree. If it's a losing season, I don't think it will be. That coach will come back, but he still has that energy. I mean, I went to Syracuse 2 times, and he still seems like he's the same person as I saw him a couple years
Same.
ago. Same
Same, bro.
person. He comes downstairs the same exact time for practice, and everything. So same exact time, got the chair right there, But yeah, I mean, but he just loves basketball, man. Loves it.
He loves
Loves
it.
it.
He loves it.
Yeah, so I really, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting time when he does leave, because it's just like you said. I mean, coach is Syracuse. I mean, he built the program up to where it is right now, and it's gonna be hard to see him go when he does decide to leave. But as his players, I mean, it's been special. I mean, he's built something so special at Syracuse. So when it is time to go, I mean, the community's gonna, it's gonna be hard for the community. It's gonna hit us hard, but he's done an amazing job at Syracuse as his time there.
But you
Yo,
gotta
it's
think
gonna be a big.
he been my fault.
Go ahead.
He been coaching since it's people who probably now are like grandparents who like
Yeah,
that while he was, you know what I mean?
40 plus
So like you
years.
said, it's gonna impact the whole community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's gonna be they gotta have a parade for him. I don't care what's going on. They gotta have a
Oh
farewell
yeah.
parade for Coach, no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
That's only right. And people, I know people. You hear people, oh, we need a new, I mean, we need a new coach. He can't adapt. Yo, bro. First of all those people saying that they don't know anything about ball, and then when he does, that transition ain't. I mean, I hope it's smooth, but I don't think it's going to be as smooth as people, expect it to be. I guess it's Syracuse basketball is Syracuse basketball, but at the same time, my man has been at the head for 50 plus years, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a little bit of a adapt period. You know what I'm saying? To
For
figure out
sure.
what's going on. The good thing is the guys we got on staff, all Cuse guys. All
Yeah.
Cuse guys. So it's within the family. I just see him whenever he chooses to do it, and like I agree with both of you guys, on his own terms, whenever he wants to. But it's kind of like Duke. You keeping it in the family, you handing it down. The structure is already there, like the foundation is already laid.
Exactly.
Kind of just got follow along, and then obviously you can mix it up as as you go and kind of put yourself or
Because,
whatever. But
because at the end of the day, when you're recruiting a kid to go to Syracuse, and much love and respect to all the assistants that are on staff, you go to Syracuse because you want to play for Jim Boeheim, right?
Yeah.
So that I
yeah,
feel like that, man, not just in this Syracuse in particular, but any school you go to Duke because you want to play for Coach K. Like those guys' names hold a certain weight. So for the fans and for the people who think, like you said, we need a new coach, we need a new look, we need to relax. because guess what? It's a lot of kids that want to play for Coach Boeheim because of his name and the prestige that he brings to the program. So, you know, we'll see what happens, because obviously the inevitable is going to happen where he's going to have to step down and, you know, pass the torch to whoever it may be. And at that point, we'll be able to see what's going on. Right now, it's all hypotheticals, but kids want to play for Coach. I wanted to play for Coach Boeheim. I remember when I committed and it said, you know, Mike Hopkins' name as a successor. I didn't know what that word meant at the time, so I had to go Google it. Right. And then it said, so I'm, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, then it said, like, you know, whatever, he's going to take his place. I'm like, hold on. So that means I'm not going to play for Coach Boeheim. So I had to call Coach Murphy, who recruited me, and he was like, no, it's not going to be immediate. Coach Boeheim will be here when you get here. And I was like, oh, all right, bet. Like, because, you know, that's a big part of why you want to go play, you know, at Syracuse. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
We'll see. And on the flip side too, it's starting to be a lot more opportunities at different colleges, smaller colleges. We've seen guys come out of smaller universities and, you know, be stars in the league. Damian Lillard, guys like that. So It is starting to be a different landscape, obviously, with the NIL and being able to get paid. Like, man, I seen my man down in Memphis, Mikey Williams, whatever. Yo, bro, he signed with Memphis or was going to Memphis. Yo Gotti just gave him like $1 million NIL deal.
Crazy.
To be, you know, so I'm like, so like, it's just, the landscape is wild, bro. Like, you already, before you get into college, you good. Like, you know, I mean, where's the motivation piece, I guess? I don't know. It's a different landscape. Hey, bro, before we go, I want to end on this, man. We're gonna stick with Coach Boeheim. Both of you guys, give me your funniest moment ever. It could be, you know, running into Coach Boeheim somewhere. You see him outside, he give you a weird ass look. He might not even say shit to you, because if he outside the office and he see you, he might just keep going, motherfucker. He might, you don't know. But what was like the funniest moment, bro? I got one in my head right now. My freshman year, it was hilarious. But you guys, give me yours. One of yours.
Man. Chris, you got it first, man. I can't think of nothing.
You know, a lot of my Boeheim moments are when he's actually being really serious. So that's the crazy part, right? Because he is like witty, he has jokes, like he'll say some funny shit. But a lot of the times, you know, I'm silly myself. So seeing him so upset, kind of, you know, I had to hold back laughter a lot of times. So I think one of the funniest things that I ever, you know, heard him say was when we were in a film session. I want to say it was my sophomore year. We had big fella Renzo Nwaku, 6'8", 6'9", 260. You know what I mean? And I guess he was playing bad in the middle of the zone, you know, and we're watching film and he pauses it. And then he's like, look at this shit. These guys are 6'4", 6'5", pushing you around. And he's like, I bet you if I came down there and slapped you in the face, you wouldn't do shit about it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, man, that's AO. He's 6'9", 250. You know what I mean? And so I'm just thinking about that, him saying that as he said it, I'm thinking of him actually going to do it, right? And he's dead serious. Like, he really probably was thinking, like, I want to come down there and smack the shit out you and see what you do about it type shit. You know what I mean? So I found that to be hilarious because at this point, Boeheim in his 60s, like, AO would fucking break him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
He would snap him like a twig. He didn't say shit. AO didn't say shit. You know what I mean? So that was hilarious for me. But there's been so many different moments like that, but that's the one that always sticks out to me, was just the fact that he was like that. That's the type of shit that he would talk. You know what I mean? So him thinking that he could go do that to AO and really believe it was hilarious to me.
Nah, yeah, I completely agree with that, because Coach, I mean, just seeing a guy like Coach is 70 plus years old, and just seeing him just go at you like that and go at certain dudes like that is crazy to me. I always thought it was crazy. So, there's definitely been some hilarious moments. Just a coach just getting on guys, yelling at guys, and some of the things Coach would say, I would be like, did he really just say that? Like,
he gonna hit you with some words you ain't never heard.
Yeah, definitely. But as a college, you just gotta take that stuff on the chin and just sit there and just
that's it.
Just take it.
Yep.
You know. So Coach he's just his own dude, man. He's just his own person.
That's it.
Hey man, I tell you one. It was kind of like him being like his ego was like crazy on this one. You know what I'm saying? Like so it was. I don't know if you remember, Melo had a commercial, and it was in Baltimore, and it showed like all his coaches coming up, I think, and then Coach Boeheim was in the commercial on the steps. Just kind of like a cameo. Yeah, so I don't know what year it was. It was maybe 2000, I don't know, 6, maybe 2007, my sophomore year, maybe. So we huddling up after practice. This is when we practicing in Manly.
Yeah.
So fucking in Manly, it's goddamn 12 other sports playing, fucking going around the track.
They running track. They fucking jumping over the goddamn.
Motherfucker doing layups. This motherfucker pole vaulting right next to me and shit. You know what I'm saying? But so we done with practice. We huddling up, and me, I had a smart mouth, So I'm like, Coach, before we huddle up, damn, I see you with the in the commercial getting paid fucking by Nike. He fucking stops. He looks at me. He's like, you don't fucking want to know how much. This motherfucker just, you know what I'm saying? Like he was like, yeah, motherfucker, and it's more than you think. You know what I'm saying? Like this, that type of shit. But that was like, Coach had that, like he got that, like just that slick shit. Like he say some shit like, yeah, motherfucker, 20,000, 10 seconds type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he go be on that. But, bro, one of a kind, man. Like, for real, man. Special to be a part of the Syracuse family. 1,100 wins, I guess, unofficially, right? With the 101 wins at the NCAA. But you could take fake classes at North Carolina, and be straight. You know what I'm saying? But
whatever to that. Yeah, but right.
It is what it is, yo. But man, T, I appreciate you coming on, just sharing your time for a little bit, bro. Good luck in the rehab process. Get healthy, get back on the floor doing what you love to do. And you already know we rooting for you, bro, all the time. It's always love.
Hey, fellas, before everybody signs off, we've got a tradition on this show, and let's see if I can execute it properly for once.
Double team, though, on him.
Leiden. Kick out. The three. Battle. Got it for the win! Tyus Battle knocks it down! And Syracuse wins it at the buzzer!
Yeah, I was choking his ass. I definitely remember that joke. Look at Matt Moyer. That was your boy, T.
No question about that. What a big time. This is a team that's on a winning streak right now, and I don't know there are a lot of teams that want to play them at this point. But what have we talked about? How about Biden making the play off the dribble, being unselfish? He could have took a little floater that time, but saw his guy in the corner.
Look at Torrey.
No, we can't sign off just yet. We can't sign off. I need to know if you could take us back to that exact moment. First of all, why were you open? They helped way off of you, which was terrible. But take me back to those last 5 seconds and what you were thinking. Did you think you would be that open ever? What was the play that was drawn up, if you could remember? Just walk us through that real quick before we leave. This will be the last thing.
You know what's crazy? That 3-game stretch, I had the flu. I was dealing with the flu for 3 games. I think it was against Pitt, Louisville at home, and then Clemson away. In that game, I wasn't making shots. I think I only made 1 3. I think I had 3 points the whole game leading up to that shot.
Wow.
So I'm guessing that's the reason they left me up. I wasn't having a good game.
No, hell no. They can't do that. They can't leave like
I don't know what.
He helped on the strong side.
Yeah, it was bad, but I think the play was for someone to come. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Andrew to get the ball or John to get the ball. I don't know what it was, but I was just open. And for me, I knew honestly when I caught the ball, when I saw the dude helping, I knew I was knocking down that shot. So
you shot that thing with confidence because it was 2 people right there. That's tough.
I mean. That was one of the best feelings. I mean, first game winner in college, your freshman year, there's nothing like that. Nothing like that, though.
Nothing like it. Big
that
time.
was dope. That was dope. Yo, T, appreciate you, bro. We gonna have you on again during the season, and hopefully we talking good about Cuse.
Definitely. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Get healthy, bro.
All
Get
love,
well
man.
soon, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Till next time.
Yep.